Dear brothers and sisters, I thank the Lord for today. Today, I want to talk about the topic humility. Humility is a great virtue that can obtain for us whatever we want, be it from our fellow human being, be it from God. Being humble, it opens door for you that sometimes you begin to imagine that how come these whole things are happening? Is your humility, your approach to something or to somebody that makes it possible for you to have it. Being humble is one, knowing his own capacity, his own weakness, his our own weakness, his our own the values in him or her, and taking things in a calm way, approaching things, being modest. That is what I would just say. Be modest, being contented with what you have, being kind, good to people. Okay, knowing how to approach people in your words and in actions. So it helps a lot when we go to our fellow human being to ask for something and we ask arrogantly. Definitely, we're not going to get what we're looking for. Let alone going to God. God can be merciful at times because He may understand that this is our human weakness. He may grant it. But He listens, He hears, He sees the humble from afar. He knows them when He sees them. So it's a great virtue that opens door for us. I am not talking about timidity. Timidity has been different. Just like I said, being humble is you knowing your state of being, who you are, what you can do, being content with what you have, modest, accepting who you are, accepting yourself as the way you are. As in, I am made up this way, I accept it. I am weak, I have my strength and all that. But being timid is not having enough courage to do something, to face some situations or circumstances. So there are two different things. Being timid, you really need to work on yourself to be able to have the courage to face crowd, to face situations and all that. Okay, and it's something that really can deprive you of some things if you don't work on it. And being timid, or sometimes also we misunderstand being afraid of something or somebody as being humble. No, when you see someone who is humble, you can know them by their attitude, by the characteristics. But being afraid of something or somebody, see yourself withdrawing. Sometimes we may interpret it as is being a humble. No, it's fear. So we have to find out the difference between fear, um, humility, and timidity, so that we really know the virtue we're talking about. I'm talking about the virtue of being humble. I'm not talking of timidity and fear. Okay. Now, when we read the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 1, book of St. Luke, some will call it, we call it Gospel, St. Luke chapter 7, chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. 7, verse 1 to 10. Okay. When a Roman officer, we know what a Roman officer, at this in the time of Jesus, we know what it means, as in someone who is really high in authority. Is someone that is really recognized. I would say governors and all that we have. This Roman officer had a servant that was sick. So he sent some people to Jesus to beg him to come and heal his servant. He has a good heart. He's a good officer. He's a good person. So he thought about the good his of his servants. That is also one of the virtues of one who is humble. He thinks of the good of others. He goes for others. Okay, he tries to make others comfortable. He himself or herself being comfortable with whom he is or she is. Look for the good of the other person. All right. So it's one of the qualities of someone who is humble, thinking for the good of others. So he sent his servants to some people to go and meet Jesus to tell him to come and heal his servant who is sick. When Jesus was coming, was not far from the house. When he sent message to Jesus and he said to him, no, don't bother yourself coming. Just stay there and say the word, because I am not worthy enough for you to come into my roof. Me and myself, I don't even find myself worthy to come to come close to you, to come to you, to tell you what the problem is. That was why I sent you some people. Only say a word, and my servant will be healed. Okay, that is the humility of this man, despite his riches, despite the important personality that he is or he has. He still saw himself as one who needs help, who needs the other person. He doesn't see himself as an he has it all, he has his money or he can command or whatever. No. Remember, he told Jesus when you are reading it, you just read Luke chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. He said, Jesus, I have soldiers under me. I can tell them, you come here, the other one do this, and they will obey me, they will do it. So that's the reason why I don't see myself worthy. You see what humility can really do. Now, when we read this place, we will not be thinking about authorities, presidents, government, or maybe in the church, we'll be talking about pope or superiors of congregations or superiors of communities or jogas, those people that have people under them. Each and every one of us, this is a call for each and every one of us. No one is exempted because each person at on his or her own level has someone that he or she is, I would say, have this a little shoulder high over the other person. Your attitude towards the other person, that is where the humility has to come in. It's not those in authority, it's not those that gives orders of do this, do that. No. But in our relationship with one another, how do we relate? How do we talk to people? How do we act towards them? That is where the humility is coming. This Roman officer, he was humble enough to recognize that his servant has been so good to him. So this time he needs his help. He has to do something. And again, he found himself that he's not worthy to approach the Holy One, the Master. He sent people. Even when Jesus was coming, he said, no, don't come because my place is not worthy enough to welcome you, the Holy One. I recognize your authority over me. I recognize I am a sinner. I recognize that I have wronged people. I am not worthy that you should come to me. Just say that word. So when we talk about humility, or it's not for those in authority, it's for each and every one of us. How is my relationship with those around me? How is my relationship with my sisters, my brothers? How is my relationship with those I work with? How is my relationship with those working for me? How is my relationship with the children? Because everybody deserves respect. Respect is reciprocal. But unfortunately, sometimes we feel that since we are up there, the small one has to be the one to respect us. And not we respecting, reciprocating. So, humility is a call for each and every one of us. When we see someone who is really humble, a journey becomes easier for the person. Because when the journey becomes hard, he or she recognizes, then ask questions. That is another quality of a humble person. Asking questions, asking feedback from people. You don't feel complete because you know that without others, you're not complete. You don't feel that you don't need others because each and every one of us, we are social beings and we're weak. We need the other person to be able to improve. Okay? And when you think you have it or you don't need the other, you don't know what tomorrow preserves for you. So humility is a virtue that we really need to work on, look for it, pray for it, and exercise on it. Humility is something, is a great weapon that we can use to be able to reach to things that, or get things that we really need. Myself, how do I behave like with others? As a religious now, how do I relate with other religious? How do I relate with those that are not religious? How do I even relate with those who do not practice the same faith with me? Do I see them as sinners? Or do I see them that heaven is not for them just because they are not in the same faith with me? That is pride and ignorant. Okay? Okay. Do I see myself as one who prays and others no? Do I see myself as one who can do better and others no? Pride can really come in a way that you do not expect, in a little way. Little way. it will just take us up like this and eat us up. No matter what you think you are, no matter what you think you have, you need humility to be able to cooperate with people. When this man told Jesus that he's not worthy to come into his presence, for Jesus to come to him, and he's not worthy for him to go before Jesus, Jesus himself was surprised. You know what humility can really push, as in the grace the humility could really get. And Jesus said to those that came to him, go back, Jesus, the servant is healed. He's healed, as in his humility really brought instant healing. Sure. Humility brought instant healing of this his servant. I would just like to read a quote of it. That Luke chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. I'll only read some verses. Sir, don't trouble yourself. I do not deserve to have you come into my house. Neither do I consider myself worthy to come to you in person. Just give the order, and my servant will get well. Jesus was surprised. Verse 9 said Jesus was surprised when he heard this. He turned round and said to the crowd following him, I tell you, I have never found faith like this, not even in Israel. I've never found a faith like this, not even in Israel. As in the humility, Jesus is talking about of his faith, because the man says, say the word. Say only your word. I believe my servant will be healed. That is his faith. But humility that brought this man to this faith is what I'm trying to share to you people. I'm not ready to come to you. My house is not even ready for you to come in. So just stay where you are and say what you want to say. Me, I believe in your word. You see? That is we also believing in the other person. Believing in the good in the other person. That is humility. Believing that the other person has the qualities. Believing that these things I am able to do, the other person can also do it. The graces that I have, the other person can also have it. So I don't see myself being superior to others. I don't see myself as in being better than others. I recognize what I have. I recognize what is in me. I also recognize others. Recognize what they have. Recognize what they have and what they can do. Okay, so we really need to ask for this virtue, humility, because we need it every day of our lives. In our interaction with human beings, with God, in our businesses, in our place of work, and in whatever we are doing. Sometimes we'll mock someone who is asking questions. Maybe we'll see the question as something that is French call it banal, something that is not worth asking. But this person is humble enough to ask question of what he or she do not know. So we shouldn't humiliate this person. We should take it out that this person needs my help. So I'll give myself and I'll explain to the person what the person is asking. Humility is a great virtue that we really need in our daily lives. I pray the good Lord will help us to understand and to apply it to our lives so that it will help us in our interactions. We will not be looking at those in a higher authority, but in our relationship with people. I don't feel bigger or greater, richer, I don't know, than others. I don't humiliate others. I don't see them lesser than me. Okay? And also fight timidity. They say that others are always better than me. It's not what I'm talking about. Humility, a virtue that helps us, opens door for us before human beings and before God. I pray the good Lord will help us to acquire this virtue with this grace so that we may be able to live a good life in a good relationship with others, loving Jesus in everyone. Have a nice day.